ọ̀sà òjìyàn lọ́bẹ̀. Àjànàkú kọjá mo rí nǹkan fìrí tá a bá rẹ́rìn ká sọ pé arẹ́rìn. Solocard Multiventures Limited ilé ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ ni mò ń sọ níbi káta ojúlówó kẹ́míkà àti fataláísà tí kìí ṣe yèèpẹ̀. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi sọnù kí owó bá sọnù.
Ìwé kíkọ́ láìsí ọkọ́ àti àdá kò ì pẹ́ o, kò ì pẹ́ o. Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ wa, ẹni kò ṣiṣẹ́ á máa jalè. Ìwé kíkọ́ láìsí ọkọ́ àti àdá kò ì pẹ́ o, kò ì pẹ́ o. Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ wa, ẹni kò ṣiṣẹ́ á máa jalè.
Good day, viewers. My name is Mark Oluwafemi. Again, your regular host on this TV show, Solocard Multiventures Limited. We're talking about Solocard Multiventures Limited here on Solocard Multiventures TV show, where we bring to your notice informations that have to do with how you can add value to your agricultural practices and how you can actually make it right and do it well. We want you to understand the fact that everything you are doing in agriculture is business, and if you can actually do it well, you can get it right. There is nothing difficult, there is nothing special. I'm sure several times you will have heard from different persons that they made certain thing from agriculture, they got so thing, but the fact remains that it is actually possible and it's very true. They can actually get it, they have been getting it, you can actually get the same thing too. But all you need to do is do it right. If you can do it right, you will get it right. In most of our episodes that we've had past, we talk about different crops. We talk about how to have maximum yield from those crops and how to have the best out of those crops. But there's been a major challenge on how farmers can actually turn the agricultural produce into money. That has been a major challenge some farmers have been having due to some questions we've been having from different farmers. Some people have been calling, please, I have something I want to sell, I don't know how to sell it. I have so produce I want to sell, I didn't know where to sell it, I don't know how much I'm even selling it. This is a challenge, because when you cannot convert your produce to money, then everything you've done on the farm is not worthwhile. That's one thing I want you to understand. So it is not only good for you to be able to know how to produce well, but it's also good you know how to convert those produce to money. And that's the major thing now. So what we want to talk about today majorly is about marketing. Most farmers don't know how to market their produce, and they keep complaining, farmers have been cheated. Yes, truly farmers have been cheated, but most farmers fail to find out about the right information they need to know. It's not difficult, it's not hard. Just ask questions from people. Ask questions around. I have a particular product I want to sell. How can I sell it? Where can I sell it? Where are people buying it? And these are some of the things we want you to understand. You need to work on it first before you continue. Now, I will advise in marketing, once you plant anything, even before that thing starts producing the fruit or it's harvest time, you need to do something called market survey. Most people are not, they don't even care about that. I don't think some farmers don't even know what is called market survey. Market survey might be a big name or a strange name, but the practice is just ask questions about the market, where you can actually sell that particular product you've just planted. That's just market survey. Whatever your farm is, first thing is you need to look for the nearest market. Because in marketing of any product, there are 3 key facts that you need to know. Number 1, who needs my product? That's one of the facts. Number 2, in what volume do they need my product? And number 3, where do they even need the product? If you can answer those 3 questions successfully, you can easily sell your produce. First of all, who needs my product? Whatever you think you have on your farm, let's say tomatoes for instance. Who needs tomato? Everybody needs tomato. That's the answer. Everybody needs tomato. Now the question is, in what volume? Now the volume of the tomato that you need to sell will now be determined by the next question that you will now ask yourself. Where do they even need it? And that's the market you want to sell. So first of all, you need to look for what the closest market to your farm that you can easily access. You go there. If it's a market that it is, maybe it's a weekly market or market of every 5 days, to those in those environments, you need to go to the market on that market day and go and check in what volume are they buying your products. For instance, tomatoes. If you take a tomato to the market, are people buying the tomato regularly, or people just what quantity are they selling per day? If it's a weekly market, you look at it. Okay, every week, what quantity of tomato did they bring to that market, and how did it go? Is it fast selling? Is it that they'll just bring few quantity, and if that few quantity they don't exhaust it, or do they have to move it away from there to another market again? You need to verify stuff like that. Then you now know whether that market is potential market for your produce. If it's not a potential market for your produce, you will go to the nearest market again. So these are some of the things you need to do. It's not difficult. If you did not visit the market before your produce start coming out, for instance your tomatoes, if you did not visit the market before your produce start coming out, and you just go to the market on the day of your harvest and you just take it, for instance, maybe the market day was yesterday, you harvested your own tomatoes today, and you now take it to the market, who will buy it from you? And these produce are perishable. You can't keep them for too long. Then you'll be forced to take it to a very far market. Then mind you, logistic costs will take 50% of the money away from you. Laborers on the farm that help you to harvest will take about 20%. How much are you left with? You're left with just 30%. Inside 30%, there will be some losses. At the end of the day, you'll be left with only 10% of the money. That is not business. So you need to understand how to go about this thing. When you plant anything, once the thing is coming out, you've seen the prospect, you have an idea of what the outcome should look like, you have things to work with, start looking for markets. It is advisable that you even get markets readily available that will be much more than even the produce you are expecting. Do not limit your, maybe perhaps you have an acre of tomato for instance, and you got someone that says you can buy up to 1 hectare from you, and you just go and relax, I'm going to say I can buy up to 1 hectare, I don't need to do for another person. Please get someone else as well. If someone says I can buy up to 1 hectare from you, look for another person that can buy 1 plot. Look for another person that can buy 2 plots. Look for another person that can buy 3 plots. At least you have about 4 different persons that can buy your produce. So when your produce come out, if that person that wants to buy 1 hectare from you fails you, you will not be pushed to sell your product at any price. You can always visit the next person. This is some of the concepts I want farmers to understand. We are not saying you should not have customers. Like we have customers that will sell our produce to, but we have several customers. So if this person does not take today, the person not buying your produce at that time he should buy, he or she should buy. It's not like we're saying the person does not like you or the person doesn't want to buy from you. Anything can come up. What happened if the person that promised to buy tomato from you in 2 weeks' time, when you got there on that very day, he tells you his son brought tomato to him? Will you tell him to reject his son and buy your own? He won't. Or he'll tell you his younger brother is also planting and he brought his own tomato that he didn't even know tomato is out. He says, sorry, you can't buy your own. So what will you do? Will you not take the whole tomato to your house and go and start eating it? And that's why you need to have different customers. But you cannot have them if you don't go to them and ask questions. Talk to them, interact with them, get their contacts. Even before you start harvesting, for instance, if you want to harvest the following day, you need to start contacting these people so you don't have too much losses. Good afternoon, Eka Ro, Eka Son, you call them. I'm a cool tomato, we bring our tomato to the market tomorrow, or we'll be harvesting our produce tomorrow. Whatever you think you're harvesting. So what quantity should we bring for you? Should we still bring 2 tons? Should we bring 5 tons? Should we bring 20 tons? Then you will have a first-hand information of what quantity you should be taking to the market by that time. Not like you just harvest everything down. The person maybe harvested about 20 tons, and the person say, okay, bring only 2 tons. The remaining 18 tons, what happens to it? Since you've harvested it, it will start deteriorating. And this is why we want you to be able to sell your produce conveniently without having too much losses and without being tense or being forced to sell at outrageous prices, any price, ridiculous price rather, that would not pay you as a farmer. So we want farmers to do a very good market survey. Recently, some persons called and they have some produce they want to sell, they don't even know where to sell to. The question is before you even plant that produce, what do you know about it? If you ask a question about it, our phones are very good at that. You can Google search about it. What's up with this tomato? What are people doing? How are they consuming tomato? Even if you don't know about it, people cook. The fact is everyday commodity is something that should sell every day because people are cooking every day. For tomato farmers, pepper farmers, people are cooking every day. So when you Google search, you ask questions, you will get information about that produce you have, and you know how to sell it very well. Number 2, the quantity to sell per time is a function of the kind of market you are accessing. If you are accessing a very large market, then you know the volume you have can be consumed by that market. To those that are familiar with My 12 very well, you know there's no quantity of produce you take to My 12 that you don't sell. But one problem about My 12 is this: you need to understand the timing of My 12, else you will not sell at a very good price. My 12 is so funny that you can sell your product in the morning, for instance, a basket of tomato in the morning for 10,000 naira, and in the evening they'll tell you it's 5,000 naira. That's how My 12 is. My 12 is very dicey, but if you understand the gimmicks of how My 12 works, you could take your product to the market at the time when due, then it will help you to sell at a very good price. And also, when you understand the concept, if you've done a very good market survey, it will give you insight on when to harvest, how to harvest your produce. Because if you go to the market and want to buy a product, they will have shown you samples. Okay, this is how we used to sell this product, this is how we sell them. When you're harvesting it, harvest it like this, harvest it like this. To tomato farmers, most people don't know, if you're harvesting your tomato, let the crown be on it. We talked about this during tomato section. Let the crown be on your tomato. It prevents tomato from deteriorating on time. Even if you don't have to dispose your tomato on that very day, and it will stay for some days. Don't let your tomato be too ripe before you harvest them. These are some of the conditions you will know if you do a proper market survey. They will tell you these are the conditions you need to meet so that your produce can come out fine and it can stand the test of time, even on their shelf, before they even finally sell it. So this is something that also prevents you from having too much losses on your farm as well too. But you don't do anything about it. You're waiting for your tomatoes to be fully ready before you harvest them. I tell you, the following day is already deteriorating. You harvest the tomato, remove the crown. The following day starts deteriorating. These are some of the things we need to understand. But if you don't ask questions, if you don't do a market survey, you don't know how to go about this thing. Not just tomato, cucumber for instance, pepper, all those things have understanding of how to go about them. Then you understand how to harvest them for you to have a good result. And we want our farmers to always have good results. All the things are not magic. They are just mere things that we know, but we are not putting them together in the right way. And that's why we at Local Multiventures Limited, we are looking for a way of sharing this information across to all our farmers. And that's why we created this platform to share information like this to you. So we want to urge you. Selling your agricultural products is very easy. There's nothing you are planting that could not be sold. But if you don't know where they are selling it, you cannot be able to sell it properly. There are several markets around you that you don't even know of. Ask questions about those things today. And I tell you, you will be able to sell your product very well and at a very good price. I tell you, even the process of doing your market survey, you get off-takers that are ready to take your products from you, even right from your farm. Which makes it actually easy. They've taken the stress of logistics off you, and you've said at a very good price, which also reduce your losses. So this is some of the things we all need to understand on how to go about these things, so that we can actually make the good result. And lastly, in what volume do they need my product? In what volume do they need your product is also a function of the market survey you're going to do. When you do a very good market survey, like I said earlier, the market you're assessing will determine. If you're accessing My 12, for instance, you have access to My 12 very well, and My 12 is not too far from you, or you decide to take it to My 12, but there's nowhere you're coming from that is very far, because produce are coming from far north, from Sokoto, from Jigawa, from Jos, from Kano, from Kaduna, coming to Lagos. So if you are within Southwest or if you are in these regions too, you can actually bring it. But mind you, the distance is a function of volume. If you have good volume, taking that distance will be fine. So cost of logistics will not be too much for you. But if you have small quantity, it's advised that you find immediate market around you, because you cannot have, for instance, 20 baskets of tomato and you are taking it all the way from Ekiti to Lagos. It might not really pay you, because logistic costs will take almost all the profit away. But when you have 20 baskets of tomatoes, find a very reliable market within Ekiti there or nearby towns that could take products from you. If you have about 50 baskets of tomato, if you're taking it all the way from Ibadan to Lagos, it's still fair enough. But there are markets in Ibadan as well that can absorb that product. For instance, you have about 20 baskets of tomato from Maize and you want to take it to Lagos. It might not be cost effective, because the cost of logistics to take the 20 baskets from Maize to Lagos would have taken almost 50% of the money that you're going to sell the tomato. So why don't you get a market within the saying there? There are markets within the saying that you can sell this product to, and you can get good value for them. So we need to understand all these things. There are markets around you where your farm is located that can actually absorb your product. And something some farmers don't actually put into consideration is this. For instance, let me use tomato. Sorry, I'm using tomato as a case study all the time, but it's just something that I believe you can easily understand. If they're selling a basket of tomato in Lagos, for instance, the basket of tomato that we know, that's 25 kg baskets, they're selling for like 10,000 in Lagos. And your farm is at the saying, and someone in the saying wants to buy from you for 9,000 naira. Have you seen the difference now? Just 1,000 margin. It is advisable you sell at the saying, because transporting that tomato from Ibadan, from Iseyin rather, to Lagos, you will spend money on logistics on each of the baskets. Let's say, for instance, you might say, hey, it's not high, it's 500 naira per basket. Fine, you can. You will have subjected your produce to stress over the journey, and if not well handled, some of the produce will be damaged along the line. And I'll tell you, if you are going to Maize, for instance, from Iseyin with 50 baskets of tomato, by the time it gets to Lagos, the 50 baskets might reduce to 47 baskets. You might ask me why. Will they still 3 baskets? No. When the products are damaged, when they get to market, they sort them. They will have removed all the damaged one and use and try and fill up the baskets. At the end of the day, they will have removed about 3 baskets off to balance up the rest. Now you've lost 3 baskets to 10,000 naira. Now look at it. You've just lost 27,000 naira on 3 baskets, and you spend money on transporting the tomato from Iseyin down to Lagos. Now when you put all these expenses together, it amounts to, even if care is not taken, it will be lesser than 9,000 if you are sold it in Iseyin, without you bearing logistic costs, without you bearing any risk of damage along the line. That's just an example. We have such margins in produce within our vicinity and taking it to a long distance. Some people believe that they take their product down to Lagos before they can sell at a very good price. Yes, you might have 2,000 naira, 1,000 naira difference from what you have to sell in your vicinity. But when you consider the time, number one, the cost of logistics, number two, and also the losses that comes with it, you find out that selling within your vicinity will still be more profitable for you than taking to that long distance. But in process, when you now have volumes and your vicinity cannot absorb your volume, fine, you cannot bear the cost of transporting to a very long distance and a very good market that could take your products from you. For instance, cucumber now in the market is about 6,000 naira in the case maybe. Now imagine within your vicinity someone's buying cucumber from you for 5,000 naira, and the cost of you transporting that cucumber from your farm to Lagos is about 700 naira. I would advise you sell in your vicinity for 5,000 naira, which is way okay for you, less stressful, because by the time you transport your cucumber through the journey now, by the time it gets to Lagos, there will be damage. For instance, we took cucumber to the market on Sunday. We harvested on Sunday, we took it to the market. We experienced that the fact that by the time the vehicle took it down from our farm down to the road, it was much. We took it down to Lagos, and along the line, the vehicle broke down. It hasn't even got to the market, it broke down. Now the vehicle was to arrive at the market by 11 p.m. on Sunday night, but the vehicle did not get to the market until 4 a.m. the following morning. And not that just vehicle, that vehicle broke down. We had to look for another vehicle to go and get the goods and take it down to the market. By the time the vehicle got to the market, it got to the market around 4 a.m. in the morning. Those that were waiting for the product had left. Because I think the product arrived at 11 p.m. They were there to pick up the product, but they could not, because they could not wait again. So they left, Now the produce got to the market around 4 a.m. in the morning. Now we realize the fact that why the vehicle broke down, the product has been exposed to, it was piled up in the vehicle. So some of them have been hit, has caused a lot of damage to some of them. By the time they got them to the market, some of them were damaged, some of them were broken in the process of transloading. Now, we went with 95 bags. But at the end of the day, it was reduced to 91 bags. Due to damage, we've lost 4 bags already. Now, the people that were to buy the product from us that were waiting for us could not wait again. They left. So we now sold, the product was now sold at 5,000 instead of 5,500. Because we want to quickly dispose them. I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say now. So we're forced to sell at 5,000 naira instead of 5,500 naira. In fact, we sold some of them for 4,500, as the case may be, when it was in the morning already. People were already bringing fresh one that was not even exposed to heat due to our vehicle breakdown, and it was piled up inside the vehicle there. So this is some of the challenges. Now, for instance, if you had gotten someone that's ready to buy for us for 5,000 naira, we will have sold 5,000 naira without even bearing the cost of logistics. And mind you, the first vehicle that we paid, that took the product, we paid him. The vehicle that came to translate the product had to collect extra money again to move the product to the market. We had no choice because we don't want the produce to get damaged. So we bear more costs and we still sold less. So if you had gotten someone that wants to buy for us for 5,000 from our farm gate, you know, it is quite easy for us to sell at farm gate for 5,000 without the stress. That midnight, we got a new vehicle that will move those products around 2 a.m. You can imagine what we've been through before we could get a vehicle for around 2 a.m. We could not sleep. We were there to make calls, trying to get vehicles, and we still paid extra. Look at the double stress. But if we had sold at farm gates, we would have finished selling, we would have gone to our house to sleep, have our cool money, we wouldn't have lost any bag, we wouldn't have sold anything lesser, and we'll be fine. So these are some of the conditions that we want you to understand. If you do a proper market survey, you can sell your product at a very good rate within your neighborhood there. But if you don't ask questions, you don't know what's around you. There is a market very close to where your farm is that you don't know about. But ask questions, find out, visit the market at market days, if they are the ones that goes on market days. And if it's a regular market, visit people that are selling you the produce you want to produce, they are producing, that will be harvesting soon. Ask questions about them. How did they buy it? Where did they buy it from? Then you talk to them, you interact with them, get their contact. Okay, fine, you have to sell. Find out some business information. If you go to the market, truly, there are some markets that have some monopolies in them. Then you have to go to the market, the Babaloja or the Yalojas and the like that. But ask questions about these things. You will find that it is easy to go through. It's not as difficult as you think. So we want to urge you all farmers, please ensure you do a very good market survey. Ask questions about the market around you. Ask questions from people that have planted before. How do they sell? Keep asking questions. You never can tell that the person that is close to you that you know might even be the person that wants to buy your product, that will buy your product at the end of the day. Maybe he doesn't know you are planting that and you don't know he's buying that. But when you ask questions, you're like, really, you have this on your farm? I can buy it off you. I need it. Or I used to buy it. And it's a game for you. So that's just it. So once again, I want to say thank you very much for staying tuned to this channel. I want to tell you that at Solocard Multiventures Limited, we are just after you making profit. We are after you doing it well and getting good results. We are not just after selling inputs for you. We sell input though, but we are not just after selling input. We want the best results for you. Because if you are happy, we will be happy too. Once again, my name remains Mark Oluwafemi. I tell you, I wish you bountiful harvest in your next harvest. Thank you very much for staying tuned. See you next week. Bye for now.
Bàbá Sídí ọ̀rẹ́ mi níbi táyé lajú dé yìí ló tún roko àrógbá kéèké.
wọ́n rò wọ́n ti sú mi mo ti fi kó tó ẹ̀mẹ́ta lọ́dún
yìí. Níbo ló ti wá ra kẹ́míkà tiẹ̀?
a ní lọ́dọ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n máa ń to kẹ́míkà sí ẹ̀gbẹ́ títì ibẹ̀ mo rà.
ọmọ ṣe o àgbárí bíjà tuntun kí o tò.
kàṣà.
sórí o ò tí gbọ́n pa sólókàdì ń tiẹ̀. sólókàdì nìkan ní ta ojúlówó kẹ́míkà tó o bá dọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ kò sírú kẹ́míkà tó wá tó rí. kí ni jẹ́ èpò níwájú kẹ́míkà sólókàdì.
ṣé lóòótọ́
òótọ́ ni mo sọ fún ọ wo má yá lọ. mo rí gbogbo rẹ. kẹ́míkà sólókàdì bẹ́ẹ̀ kẹ́míkà sólókàdì kẹ́míkà tó dáa ni.
sólókàdì
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
kẹ́míkà sólókàdì
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
dákun ọ̀rẹ́ mi níbo ni iléeṣẹ́ wọn wà bí ṣọ́ọ̀bù wọn níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ta tèmi náà ti lè ra.
amúnigun ògùnpá náà ni.
ògùnpá ń bẹ̀rù.
nọ́mbà 57.
nọ́mbà 57.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
amúnigun ògùnpá.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tọ́ ọ bá ti débẹ̀ ó ti rí ilé wọn báyìí wọ́n kàn wọ́ ọbẹ̀ lọ mú yìí tó wọ̀ ọ́.
ọ̀rẹ́ mi
àgbẹ̀ ti di rọrùn.
tèmi ti dá a lọ́dún yìí.